Hello, my name's Richard and welcome to Made in the Midlands TV. On this week's show we have Made in the Midlands Gold member Daniel Burton, Operations Director of RSD Pressings. Pleasure to have you on.
No, thanks for having me. It's great.
Of course. I was wondering, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about RSD Pressings and what you do over there?
Yeah, I'm the Operations Director at RSD Pressings. We're a pressings company based in Cannock. We also look after CO2 welding, projection welding on top of the pressings. We supply predominantly into the automotive sector. Previously we've dealt in other areas, but that's now the main focus of the business. We go from 30 tonne to 260 tonne press work, and at the moment we go up to 100 kVA in our projection welding facility. And that's pretty much what we've been doing since my family's run the business since 1985 actually.
That's fantastic.
The business itself has been in existence since the 40s, 1940, when it was started up in the war to make casings for bullets, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But since then, yeah, it's gone through a lot of changes, and more so over the last 20 years.
Wow, fantastic. I mean, I know you held a networking morning at RSD Pressings a couple of weeks ago, sort of showing off your new facilities, and I think a lot of that came from a large investment off the back of Lloyds Bank. I think it was around 1.3 million, I think it was reported in the Express and Star. Yeah,
the Lloyd's been great, to be honest.
Yeah.
Fantastic. The actual build itself was, I think in the end, about 2.8 million.
Wow.
Lloyd's have funded us with a 1.3 million loan that then matured into a mortgage. So that's been great, but they also helped us out with regional growth funding, which hasn't been mentioned a lot in the media, and that itself was a big help, and I don't think we could have actually done the build and the move without it.
No, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say that our relationship manager within the manufacturing side of Lloyd's was fantastic, Mark Meakin. I do believe, and we say this quite a lot, without him I don't think we could have actually made the move.
Yeah, I know sort of Lloyd's, as well as being a patron of Made in the Midlands, they do work tirelessly within the manufacturing sector in particular.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
I mean, there's not actually a lot of talk about UK banks lending, in particular, and sort of your story kind of stood out in that regards.
Yeah.
And we've talked about how your experience was of it. What advice would you give businesses who are looking out for funding and looking out for loans from banks?
It's there. For me, it took a little while to get through to the right people and talk to the right the right channels, shall we say.
Yeah.
Lloyds were a great tap into that for us. They had a direct link into the regional growth funding. But I'd also say you can look at your local council, your county council. I believe there's people actively working for them who are out there trying to push funding through. And I'm not too sure what's out there at the moment, because I know regional growth funding was going through one stage when we tapped into it, and there was another stage being released a year later. But there are other things out there, and I'd advise people to probably speak to your council, but also really your bank should be supporting you.
No, definitely, I think you're right. There's definitely funding out there, and it's finding the right means of accessing it. Exactly. It's a bit disappointing that MAS, like the Manufacturing Advisory Service, they've now gone. That's maybe something the government could look into resurrecting. But that used to be a good source point, and they do a lot of legwork for you. But now that's gone by the wayside. It probably is a little harder, but it is around. No, I mean, I know MAS were very influential within Midlands manufacturing in particular in those regards.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you've made significant investment in the company, as we've talked about, and there's, that's probably off the back of a large amount of growth in the automotive sector. What do you see the opportunities in the sector in over the sort of next few years?
I mean, if we're talking just in my sort of niche of the market, there's quite a lot. We're being told at the moment the likes of Jaguar, Land Rover, Nissan, Toyota are telling their tier ones to focus on larger press work, the subframe assemblies as cross car beams, that type of thing, and that really to leave the small medium-sized press work and assembly to the likes of ourselves and numerous other members who have Made in the Midlands. that's really where I see growth. There's a lot of investment, a lot of new vehicles coming out over the next few years through the likes of Jaguar Land Rover and Nissan, I know particularly. Other than that, if people were coming into it fresh, hard to say really. There's a lot of investment, and we've done a lot over the last 30 years to really get to where we need to be. But if you're already established and you're looking to grow, there's certainly some good areas to look into.
No, completely agree. And I think Hangro's foundations really help companies.
Yes.
So, I mean, obviously you're in a new building, you've had a large amount of investment.
Yep.
What's next for RSD Pressings then?
The next focus, we're looking to grow again. Like I think I said earlier, we go up to 260 tonnes.
Yeah.
And really there we're limited on bed size, tonnage, which is becoming a bit more of a factor nowadays. Technology's improved a lot. There's a lot of components now made out of quite small gauge material, higher tensile, but there's also a move now to using alternate materials that's going really high in tensile strength, so the tonnage factor's coming back in, and with that we're looking to move to 300 tonne presses, larger beds, try and improve our cost efficiency with that, making probably more complex components, almost like 2,000-3,000 an hour, that type of thing.
Wow. What does that sort of mean for your business then, to be able to have those increases then?
I think we're just going to be more competitive in the marketplace. We can maybe open ourselves up to additional customer base, which is one of the plans we've got going forward. On the projection welding side, that's another area we're looking to improve on. And there, in the new facility, we've got power going up to 1,000 kVA, and that's going to allow us to upscale our capabilities within projection welding, and maybe take on more complex assemblies, and expand the range which we have currently.
No, definitely. I mean, as someone who's been to RSD Pressings for the open day at first hand, I can say what a strong facility it is, and sort of you can see just by walking around the factory the amount of efforts that's been put in to make sure it's a really strong factory. Yes,
no, there's a lot of future proofing gone into it as well. I mean, in addition to the 33,000 square feet that we've had built, there's another 10,000 square feet on the side that we can add on to, and also we can convert the backyard and use that more efficiently. There's a lot of things we can do going forward to really take care of our plans over the next 10-15 years.
No, it's fantastic to see that long-term vision of what you could do with the company in those years for sort of the next generations. As we know, sort of recent Japanese government statement, of which sort of some Japanese businesses such as Nissan are unhappy about the UK leaving the EU, which in turn has sort of fueled speculation regards to adverse trade tariffs. What message would you say to those negotiating Brexit?
It's quite simple, really. They've, cut in between the lines that we've got to negotiate free trade.
Yeah,
it's got to remain pretty much the same it was previously. I know that we're on from a social aspect. We're going to have to probably offset one or two requirements that Europe might put on us. But I think if we're looking at it from a business perspective, we do need free trade, and that will then put confidence in the likes of Nissan, Toyota, and one or two smaller companies below them to remain within the UK. There's a big skills base here. There's a lot of history, and it needs to be maintained and pushed forward. And that's what I'd say to people coming out of Brexit, and particularly Japanese companies. The skill base is here. No,
exactly. I completely agree that people always try and buy quality, and it's evidently here. Within the UK and particularly in the Midlands. Would you say anything to someone like Nissan who are apprehensive about businesses leaving the EU, or would it just be to sort of keep faith with UK manufacturers?
Keep faith. There's still a long time until we pull out of Europe.
Yeah.
There's really just about 2 years or under 2 years. So in that time, there will be a lot of negotiations. It gives us the time to do it correctly. And in that time, I hope there's confidence built up for us to actually put confidence into the likes of Nissan and Toyota. I mean, they've invested a lot already. I mean, it's the biggest manufacturing plant in Europe. probably the world actually. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, they want to see that carry on. I'm sure people in the North East and throughout the UK do.
Well, yeah, no, particularly for the North as well. It's a lifeline up there, I guess.
It is, yeah, pretty much.
Last question, on the political theme again. If you were Prime Minister for the day, what would be the one thing you'd change that would have a positive impact on your business?
Quite hard to say, really.
It's quite a tough one.
A day is a short time and all that. A couple of little things, really. I think recently there's been a lot of capital allowance that was put in place to stimulate growth, and that's been slowly dropped off. I think if the UK as a whole and the government want things to keep moving forward, for me, at the end of the day, to be a strong country within the world, you need a good manufacturing base to do it from. You can't just be a services nation, which we sort of moved towards in the late 90s and the noughties, as we call them. So really, you need to help out businesses, and that's one avenue they can do it. And then, in capital allowances, there's one or two others that I'd probably say I'd put forward, but they're a bit sceptical. But that's certainly a good starting point if you want to see business keep pushing forward. No, I think that's great. Well, thanks for coming in. Thanks for your time. Feel free to check out some more of our videos on madeinthemidlands.tv. If you're interested in being on the TV channel, please call 03300 889618, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.